Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Let's celebrate the PlayStation, baby, the original PlayStation. Let's think about it. When I think of this console, I really think of the transition into modern gaming. What did this console do? It gave you the next level entertainment system at an affordable price, which Sega failed to do, and that's the reason why they lost everything, right? Just a poorly run enterprise over there, and Sony took full advantage of that proposition, right? And they gave the public exactly what they wanted. When you give consumers exactly what they want, you'd be surprised the things that happen, right? You wish that more video game companies would learn this lesson, but they don't. For whatever reason, they don't. And to me, in retrospect, as I look at it over the years, I really do see that delineation because so many special things happen with this console that took gaming into the next level. And one of the companies that I think about, that when I ever think about the PlayStation, you know how it's funny, like you think of certain games and you think of certain game companies. For me, I always think of Psygnosis, however you pronounce it in English, and Destruction Derby. And the other thing that comes to mind, of course, is the Wipeout series. I think it's Wipeout 2097. Don't sleep on that. Let me tell you, that game still holds up today. I still play my long boxes, but I always think of those the first boxes that came out were long and black before these just did CD cases. I have my collection here of PlayStation games that are just so expensive now. Probably it's my most curated collection, I would say, when it comes to the games that I own, specifically RPGs. Look at these two bad boys right here. Game changers, baby. Talk about game changers. I mean, really awesome games that I try not to take out. I'd rather emulate them, you know what I'm saying? Because now they're so expensive. Probably the row of PlayStation games that I have, it's worth a bunch of money, now, but I don't keep them for the money. I don't. I was even thinking of completing, and I'll show you something that you members are seeing early, right? If you're a member, you're watching this video early. That's if you want to take advantage. 99 cents. Look at this, guys. Oh, let me take this out and share something with you that I normally don't because it's so cumbersome, but it's something that I keep for myself. All these games now, I want to say for a good part of them, and I have my PlayStation there connected. I can put them in, whenever I want to. I stopped doing the whole recording and emulating because it just takes too much time, right? It takes too much time, and it withdraws from the channel. Most of the things that I do on the channel are not technical. They're really conversations that we're having, about video games. I'm one of these people, right? I mean, it's probably kind of weird in today's environment when everybody's live streaming, everybody's doing all this stuff, and I don't. To me, gaming has always been private. It's always been a private affair, whether it's by myself or here in my living room with my family. It's mostly been an intimate affair. Right, so if I play a game for the reason of conversation, it's probably something that I'm familiar with, but I'm not doing it to accomplish anything specifically. Some of the games that I play I've never played before or what have you, and I'm playing them just to experience them. I'm not necessarily good at something they're playing for the very first time. And to me, if I'm talking, especially while I'm trying to play a new game, it takes away from the experience. I'm not enjoying the game, then I'm just playing a game and just to create content, and that takes away from the enjoyment for me, and for me it's really about playing games. And with that said, let me share with you this. This is how I have a lot of, look at that. Oh, let me get into the camera here. This is how I have a lot of my collection in these binders. If you kids of the 90s remember these bad boys, right? Look at that. Look at that right there. I played this game so much right here. Played the crap out of it. Remember the extreme games? Yeah. And Twisted Metal 3, man. Let me tell you, my son wore out this this game for sure. Look at this. Remember Shaq, NBA? Over here. I was into sports games too. Let me go back into this one. Of course, Gran Turismo. I played a lot of FIFA back in the day. Cool Borders. Look at that. Oh man, wrestling. WCW, NCO. Die Hard. Oh man. And I have Tekken 3 in here. Warhawk, a classic. Vigilante 8, guys. If you never played that game on the PlayStation, don't sleep on it. Oh, let me see if this thing is so thick. Look, this is the big monster. Just to show you what kind of CD collection I'm talking about here. Look at that. Yeah. Don't sleep on Vigilante 8. That's what I was trying to tell you. Another great game if you like car wrecking and shooting. Awesome. My Tekken 3. 1. I have Wild 9 in here. Siphon Filter. Akuji, if you guys remember, In the Hunt. Let me see. Look at In the Hunt here. There's so much, guys. Crash Bandicoot 2. Remember this lenticular? Oh, man, if I take it out of here, it's going to be... But I really want to show it to you. Remember this lenticular cover? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Oh, man. So many memories, guys. This console really... When you think of value, back in the day and what it meant and what a game changer it was, it really brought in what modern gaming was going to be, right, in the future, by giving you something that was affordable, by putting the media on CD form. Look at this. Oh, this is a classic, guys. I mean, if you were playing Battle Arena to Shinden, and I played it first on the demo disc that came with it, right, but then this is another... just another classic, man. There's so many in this console that people have so much nostalgia for, and I'm just pulling them out of here. I remember playing Darkstalkers, which is pretty cool back in the day. Having that kind of game on that console, it really showed you the power. Look at this. I have a Blockbuster, Dave Mirra. I think I bought that one actually from Game Crazy, even though it says Blockbuster. My son really liked skating back then. So before some other games, I remember buying this one, which is Street Skater, before the whole Tony Hawk phenomenon came up aboard. Oh man, and these guys, I survived on these for such a long time. Playing with my kids, the samplers, the jam packs. Ooh. Because, you could sample games, play a little bit, only one level, but it got the flavor of the games in there. It got you looking forward. This is pre-internet. Remember that. Now, one of my son, at the time, he was younger, getting into high school, and my son is a huge, and I mean huge, Tomb Raider fan. And I remember buying these games upon release, so he'd stay home, not get in trouble out in the streets, because we didn't live in a good neighborhood, back then. And I really wanted to keep him indoors. As a matter of fact, it's a terrible neighborhood, but it's all we could afford back then, And video games in this era, the PlayStation was a great way to keep him home. And I'm glad that I didn't trade these in. I traded other stuff in, but not these. Remember the PlayStation magazines? Oh man, these were amazing. They really were. I'm telling you, whenever I could grab these magazines, I remember back in the day, I want to say they were like $7, $8, which is a lot cheaper than $40, right? I couldn't afford a $40 a pop. But that would keep us entertained for a little bit until we could actually get the games. whether we put them on layaway or anything else. Man, a look back at all this, at all this. Remember the PlayStation Underground? You really wanted to be cool. You signed up for the PlayStation Underground. Man, the one thing a lot of people say, if we only knew how good the good old days were, if you only knew how good those days were, and we really did, man. We didn't have a lot, but we appreciated everything that we had, and even what we didn't have, we would go out to the stores and play the different machines. We'd go out and play the Saturn. I always wanted a Saturn. I had a PlayStation, but I always wanted a Saturn. And eventually I got it because I could appreciate what they were doing. And I could also appreciate the leap in technology we were taking. It was huge. It was a huge leap in technology, between the 16 and 32 eras, between the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation. Man, that Nintendo ever blow it, but because of them doing that, we got all this. As they say, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. And if Nintendo hadn't basically backstabbed Sony, we wouldn't have had any of this stuff. And look, here's another Psygnosis games. I'm telling you, Psygnosis is so underrated. They really are. I wanted to put them on the thumbnail, this video. But in reality, it's the PlayStation. As I started developing and thinking the video game idea, I really wanted to honor this company because Sony bought them because they recognized the talent that they had in the games that they could develop for them. And they did. They did. They really set a benchmark for what was to come on that system. But as I kept on thinking and remembering and all that stuff, I started going through these games and I was like, oh my gosh. And I started coming in Battle Arena Tashina. Look at this Gex. Oh man, I bought this game for my son and he was a master at it, This is Enter the Gecko. He was a master at it. I remember coming home, I had bought it and we had started playing it together. And by the time I got home, he was off to the races, man. He was doing things I didn't even know the game did, man. It was pretty cool. Here's another game that we got because we got it cheap. First we got the sampler, right? And then I got the game for cheaper because everybody was playing everybody was playing what's that? Metal Gear Solid, and we had Siphon Filter. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Man, those were the days, man. Those really were the days. And like I told you, we were lucky enough to appreciate them. We were lucky enough to know what we had in our hands, and we knew it as we played the games. We knew it as soon as we played Tony Hawk Pro Skater. We knew it the first time we played Twisted Metal, man. I'm gonna have to put these things back in. They're so tight, guys. They're so tight. And back in the day, the reason I have this, if you really want to know, the reason I have this because I was an idiot back then. I didn't know that I was gonna be, game hoarding and game collecting. For me, this is just an easy way to keep the games in one place and not take so much room in the house because we had a small apartment. I shouldn't even say house. We always lived in apartments until later on, when I was able to afford a house. And man, it just turned out that I kept on stacking and stacking these games, and I kept buying bigger and bigger CD cases for them. And here we are all these years later, and what a great journey it has been. It really has been great being a PlayStation fan over the years, owning, all the consoles that they put out. The only thing that I haven't owned from them is the Vita. I have the PSP, and it took me, the PSP got me through some hard times, man. It really, really did. When I when I was the poorest, when I was the bleakest. Oh, let me see. Oh, let me go down here, guys. Let me get it. When I was down and out, and I had to work 3 jobs, including those of you who have been in the channel, including doing what's called first calls, which really is picking up bodies to take to the mortuary. That was my job, man. And the only reason I took that job is, the employment situation at that point, me being at that point without an education, not having any college degree, nothing. There was only McDonald's and picking up dead bodies. And the reason I picked up dead bodies is because it paid a lot more than McDonald's. That's how I got into it. And this was my companion, man. I used to have the PSP with me in the hearse, if you will. It's not really a hearse, just so you know, to pick up bodies, so it's not that disturbing to people and stuff like that. So we do it. We used to do it. I still talking in the present. We used to do it in vans and station wagons. Remember, I had a station wagon that I used to use, and also a Chevy Astro van, right? And we just put the gurneys in there. That's how you carry. But the PlayStation, man, has been a great part of my life. I've been a great fan, and I really just wanted to make a video to celebrate, to celebrate the fact that we've had all these great games, starting with the PlayStation 1, and I have PlayStation 5. I'm staring right at it. I have my PlayStation 3s down here. So many great games. I mean, and it all started with the PlayStation 1. And this is what this is. Look at my sign over here. I have it sideways because I didn't have a place to hang it over here. We're doing remodeling. That's where it started with the PlayStation. And that's why when that PlayStation, classic mini, whatever you want to call it, when it came out, I wasn't, let me see, where the heck is it? Up here. It's up here. When it came out, everybody was pissed and this and that and the other about the performance. And me, I knew I was never going to get it to play it, because I had other ways of playing these games. To me, it was an ornament, and it was more a nostalgia piece. And that's what the mini consoles are for me. A nostalgia piece to look back of always where I come from, and how we got over on those tough times when we were coming up. Because everything that I'm telling you about the PlayStation, man, when I first got the PlayStation, you guys, I think I was making $10 an hour, tops. Tops. When I was playing, when I had the PlayStation, when I had the PSP eventually, I was getting paid by the body. This is why Gen Xers are happier, right? We're happier, when people think something's oppression, to us it's just the ins and outs of life, part of growing up, part of growing, the hardships of life that build character. When somebody's being mean or whatever, we don't take it as oppression or anything else. We're just happier people, man. We're just happier people because we know you can work your way out of any situation, right? Especially with a great attitude. Anyway, guys, I want to just celebrate the PlayStation with you. If you're a member and you're seeing this first, I really do thank you for supporting the channel. It really makes a difference, especially now with a kid and having to buy powdered milk every week, right? And all that stuff. I could dedicate more time for doing this. And I really do want to thank everybody out there for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. You tell me, what's your favorite memory of the PlayStation when it came out? When did you get it? Did you have enough? I forgot to tell you. Now I'm going to close out the PlayStation story, without telling you and reminding everybody how I got my PlayStation. We had a per diem, right? I'm already saying my thank yous and stuff. We had a per diem at a company that I worked for. It was a company that did services for agricultural companies. And I worked up and down in the California, the breadbasket. And we were out in Kern County, and they had given us a per diem, a statement to stay in a hotel and to buy meals. Well, my coworkers, the first day, the first thing they did was just like, hey, we're going to sleep in the van. Don't worry about it. We're going to go to, we're going to go to the strip joint, right? So, the first day was cool, whatever. But, at the end of the night, I was like, man, we ran out of money. I don't want to go back there. Once is good enough for me. And when I got more stipend money to stay out there, I saved it all up to buy a PlayStation. That's how I got. And I would hook it up in my room. And then these guys that kept on going to the strip joint came to my room, and they were pissed because they couldn't watch cable because I was playing my game. And I was like, hey, fool, you don't have money, man. So you're sleeping on the floor. If you don't like it, you can book it. This is all about the PlayStation, man. And it was pretty cool because I would work 8 hours, right? And the rest of the day, I just have to wait till the next day for 8 hours. We had to spend 2 to 3 days a week up there. So it worked out great for me. That's how I got my PlayStation, man, by saving up my stipends and not spending it on strippers like my coworkers did. All right, guys, thank you so much for this celebration. I already went way over what I wanted to be, but man, I hope you guys had a great time during the holidays. I hope you guys are going to have a happy, happy new year. And I really wish you the best this coming year. Guys, thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're really cool, make sure that you support the channel. Take care.